care. They'll, if they get a deal on the house, but I don't know. I think certain people.
I don't know if I would want something like some brutal murder happen there, but I feel like if somebody died naturally or something, I'd probably live with it.
Well, too, I was talking with some guests, too, in the past, like back in the 1900s and, 1870s and beyond, it was quite common.
Everyone died in their home.
Or if they didn't die in their home, right, they had their coffin in the parlor, right, and everybody would come and pay the respects to the deceased. So here you had the body, sitting there for a day or two in the parlor, rich places for, the paranormal, to exist. And I don't know how you feel, doing this talk show. I used to, years ago, when I got out of the military, I got into broadcasting, DJ, and then I started doing talk shows, and I did a paranormal show for a while. And then I got out of broadcasting, and then recently, like 7 months ago, I decided, hey, I'm retired. I'm gonna start my own talk show and kind of, in the paranormal. But I find a lot of the shows out there, if you listen to them on the internet, they do more damage to the paranormal than they do helping the paranormal. I try to bring guests on that actually, are into the paranormal, research the paranormal, or have had, experiences in the paranormal, and not just people just talking about it that don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, well, you do have some people that sort of thrive on more of conspiracy theories, so to say, where it's there. Some of the stuff is just, information that they really didn't gather. They just read it somewhere, and a lot of it, it's all kind of hearsay, and you have no way to back it up or prove it, or it's something that we kind of try to stray away from, because when, I'm going to go into someone's house and I'm going to try to help them, I don't want to make them uncomfortable. I want them to be able to trust us. I mean, they don't know us. They're letting us around all of their belongings. I don't want to go in there with a bunch of stuff that, the average person can't digest and make them kind of, and I don't want them to all get swept up either in, something that seems more of a fairy tale rather than, grounded in reality. Although, some people may think I'm crazy for saying that about anything paranormal, but, we tried. That's why, like, when we use something that's metaphysical, like, let's say our medium goes out and is doing her readings, and she, feels particularly a certain thing about a specific place at where we're investigating, we will be like, oh, okay, well, why don't we go and do that session in there and see if we get anything out of it. But it isn't like, oh, I'm going back to the client and saying, our medium felt this, and this is a horrible room to be in, and there's all these crazy things going on, and it's just like, I can't prove that to you. So, I mean, if I were to reveal something, like, let's say that I didn't tell anything to my medium about a certain, place in the home where this actually happened. Somebody had committed suicide in one of the rooms, but we decided not to tell anybody on the team except for it was Seamus, my director, and myself. And she ended up saying that somebody committed suicide in that room. And I mean, that was valid. I mean, we had a way to back that up with fact, and there was no way she could have known that, because the only reason we couldn't find evidence of it, it was the homeowners who were the ones that had told us that.
Yeah.
Because I guess it had happened so long before that it wasn't documented that that's what had happened or whatever. But yeah.
So you go into a person's house, you set up your equipment. Do you have like sound equipment too? Besides the recorders, does it go into like a computer type of system, or how do you when you go into a house, for example, how do you set it up?
Well, we do have DVR recorders, which is we have 8 security cameras that have infrared capability, and they are not wireless. We have wires, and that we, put those up first. But we also have, like, when we are recording, we have our sound recorder has monitoring on it, and you can turn it up louder so that you basically have super hearing because you're hearing better than any of the investigators around you. So that is something that we do have for sound wise. But we have our recorders, we have camcorders that are also infrared. And then we do our basic stuff. You want to find certain things that may be, we always look for temperature. So you're looking for, we're using a thermal thermometer to try to find any leaks in the windows or a place where drafts are getting in to the house that may be causing these cold spots that people keep claiming, or that the investigators are, having their feeling at the moment, to make sure it isn't something that's absolutely normal. You also have your EMF detectors, which, some say that there's 2 reasons to use them. Some say that, ghosts manipulate, like ions and things in the air, and use that to manifest themselves. But then you're also looking at certain spikes, like certain, electronic equipment that is just giving off an insane amount of electromagnetic field, like waves. And I was at one place, they had this radio that was spiking our EMF detector off the charts. I was like, this thing is probably making you sick, sir. I mean, and if you are seeing something, it may be caused by this. I was like, get rid of this radio. I was like, this thing is giving me more readings than if I were at an electrical box. I'm like, you don't want to be sitting there at all.
Yeah, that's a good way to get cancer or something.
Yeah, right. So we take in stuff to kind of, it's both helping you prove and debunk.
Well,
you have to be very careful.
Was that you, or was he back?
Oh, I didn't hear anything.
Oh, wow. I did on my end. That's weird. Oh, maybe we're bringing the spirits in here. I'm not sure. It is weird. Like we were talking about ghosts and all that stuff with a medium, maybe a month and a half ago. And then all of a sudden, weird stuff. We started hearing all this garbled talking coming, and it wasn't on her line. It wasn't on my line. And then as fast as it came, it went away. And it was like, wow. So maybe we touched on something. How many cases have you personally been on, roughly, at this point?
Oh, my goodness. I don't know. I mean, we've been around since 2010, and I was, like 6 months in, so I've been doing this for, like, over 7 years now. Wow. I don't know. I mean, we do, it's either, like, 1 or 2 a month, sometimes more. It just depends. But we also are involved in, like, we do a lot of events. So, like, we'll do conventions or we'll do lectures and things like that. So that kind of ties up some of our time, too. But, so I don't even know.
Oh, wow.
I've been on so many, I can't count.
Now, so, I hate to say it. So, like, the shows like, the Ghost Hunters and a couple other shows it's been on and is still on. When you watch them, what's your impression?
I'm sad, especially with Ghost Hunters, because they took us out of the underground. Like, they basically made it a lot less taboo than it ever was. And a lot of their methods are aren't bad. Like they're good at what they do. But I think that, I mean, of course, I don't know for sure. I only, like, I have I've interviewed Samantha Hawes and Dustin Perry, and they're fantastic people, and they seem like they love and care about what they do. But I think anything that was done was pressure from the networks. So, I mean, that's one of the reasons why we ended up, because we have our own web series that's TSPI Paranormal Presents Into the Black. And we've gotten offers from, like, a whole bunch of producers, like, all over the country to, oh, we're looking for potential candidates for our next show, for this network or that network and stuff like that. And, a lot of them just kind of jerk you around, or they're trying to figure out new techniques that they can use on their show, or trying to get locations out of you, or like all sorts of stuff. And I just was like sick of it. So we decided, just, why don't we do our own show? I was like, nobody can tamper with our stuff. It's our evidence. It's like whatever's put on it, we put on it. And I was like, and let's just do that. I mean, people do like to watch them. I mean, yeah, I do go a little overboard on the music because I'm a musician, so I have to put music in. But, I mean, we give you a nice, overview of, like, the history of the place that we went to, and, and then we'll give you kind of, like, an overview of us setting up sort of thing, and then give you, like, the meat of each of our sessions, and then call it a day and show you kind of how we go through everything. But, yeah, I don't know. I feel sad because I feel like there's probably a lot of those teams were really good teams. And, I mean, what team doesn't want to be known for what they do? I mean, who wouldn't want to be remembered to be like that? You were in on all this, But, I mean, if you think about it, you kind of have these waves of these shows. I mean, I'm saying like post Ghost Hunters. You have everything was ghosts. Oh, ghost this, ghost that, all these shows start popping up out of nowhere. Then everything's demons. Demons. Every show doing demons. And then all of a sudden it's, okay, now what do we do? Okay, we're going to have all these cryptozoology shows and, like, play that out. And then after that, all these shows started kind of falling off because they, like, didn't know where to go from there. And you still have shows on, but it is not as, like, big and popular and, really going as it once was.
You know what's really bad though is when I guess the network, right? If they have a show that's going out and they're sending the crew out, right, looking for ghosts at an old tavern or an old hotel or somebody's house, right? If they came back 9 out of 10 times with nothing, I mean, no one's going to watch the show. So from the network standpoint, they're in there to make money. Let's be honest.
What stinks is that anybody who is into in the paranormal scene completely is understanding that you're going to go out and not find something. So it's like, oh, so a lot of the people in the paranormal scene sort of turn their backs on the shows, and then you have people who are just kind of paranormal fans who stuck with it and watched them. But I've seen almost all of the people I know, like my local teams, being like, I don't really like those shows that much, and it kind of just sort of like, yeah, they kind of made us look bad.
Well, I hate this.
And it stinks.
I know, and I've been in photography all my life. In fact, I was one of the first people that had a digital camera. Kodak Nikon contacted me back many, many years ago when digital first started coming out, and they presented me with a test camera, which way before digital even hit the market, to test out. And, I was into photography really heavy too. I retired, then I kind of like lost interest and went different ways. But, it's what's really bad is now you have everybody wants to be a ghost hunter, or you go onto the internet and everybody's doing paranormal shows and they don't know anything about it. And I have 40 years behind me in the paranormal. I mean, either listening, reading, digesting it, or experiences.